Today we'll be ranking the attractions at Universal Studios Florida, which is currently the second gate at the Universal Orlando Resort. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, May 19th, and you're listening to episode 36, ranking the Universal Studios Florida attractions. As you guys know, or if you're new to the show, we just came back from Disney less than a week ago. It was a grind this week getting back into the swing of things, and luckily it was a short 4-day week for us. We're battling the Disney blues, and we hit the ground running this week. The kids still have swimming, and Sophia has dance, and they started baseball this week as well, which has us at the Diamond a few nights a week.
Yeah.
It's busy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because it keeps our mind occupied and not constantly on our next trip. Having said that, I did a thing this week. So I called Disney and we booked a room at the Animal Kingdom Lodge with our bounce back offer for the last week of August. So quick note, even if you don't get a pamphlet or an email with a bounce back offer, you can call Disney at any time during your trip or up to 7 days after checkout and still qualify. If you don't know what a bounce back offer is, it's essentially if you commit to your next trip while you're still on your current trip or just after it ends, you can save on your vacation reservations for your next trip. So if you know you want to come back, it's definitely worth looking into and comparing with current offers. So for the record, if there was no discounts being offered right now, it would be a significant savings. But there's currently an offer for up to 30% off your room reservation for a stay of 5 nights or more between July 8th and October 3rd, which is pretty much the same exact savings as the bounce back offer. We did a comparison and the bounce back was better by $9, so it's essentially identical. Now, if you've been listening for a while, you might say, wait a minute, doesn't that clash with your Disneyland trip at the end of August? So yes, it does. Okay, so we're debating if we'll switch coasts and go back to Disney World and do Disneyland next year instead. It's a little bit up in the air at the moment, but we won't be able to be undecided for much longer as we'll be looking at booking our flights soon, and we'll either be booking California flights or Florida flights. Pretty much opposite ends of the country there. Much. So time will tell. We don't visit Disneyland nearly as often and the kids have never been, so we're being drawn to the West Coast, but it's tough. As you guys know, we're heavily Disney World centric on the podcast, and it's because that feels like our home, right? Disneyland 100% is a great resort and merits a visit, but we just love Disney World so much.
We do, yeah.
With that said, before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. We talked about it on last week's episode, but it's still the hottest news coming out of Walt Disney World, and Tiana's Bayou Adventure is finally opening on June 28th. Disney revealed more details since on how you'll be able to experience the attraction when it opens. So in the first few days, the ride will operate a virtual queue. So you'll be able to join at 7 a.m. with a second shot at 1 p.m. Disney did say that they expect to open a standby queue shortly thereafter, so the virtual queue is not expected to be utilized for very long. Also, it will be on Genie Plus, meaning it won't be an individual lightning lane. So with your purchase of Genie Plus for the day, you'll be able to select Tiana's Bayou Adventure as your first Genie Plus lightning lane of the day. And if you're heading to the parks anywhere around this time, we strongly suggest that be your first choice as it's likely to be super popular and go very fast for some time.
Absolutely.
And this is interesting because new attractions typically land on the individual lightning lane list. Now, this is technically not a fully new attraction. We've said it before, but the ride system is essentially unchanged, right? So the big change is the theming.
Yes.
Interesting decision from Disney, but any way you slice it, it will be popular. Disney revealed that annual pass holders and DVC members will have previews like any other opening of a new attraction. So annual pass holders will be able to preview the attraction on June 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 20th. They will need a park pass reservation for Magic Kingdom or have a park pass reservation for another park, have scanned into that park and hop to Magic Kingdom to join the 1 p.m. virtual queue. DVC members will have 2 preview events on June 12th and June 19th. To be eligible, DVC members need a reservation that was booked on points prior to May 12th, and that stay has to coincide with those dates, and registration for that open on May 16th, so it's already open. This is much more restrictive for DVC members, and if you don't have a reservation lined up already, it seems you won't be able to take advantage of these previews with your DVC membership. If you happen to be an annual pass holder as well, then you'd be able to take advantage of the annual pass holder previews, despite the restrictions for DVC membership previews. With all that said, once June 28th comes around, and basically anyone and everyone at that point will have a chance to ride this attraction. So we're super excited for it, okay? We love Splash Mountain. The ride system hasn't changed, so no reason to think that we won't love this one as well. On that note as well, beignets are coming to Magic Kingdom starting on June 28th, so you'll be able to find them at the Friar's Nook over in Fantasyland or the Golden Oat Outpost in Adventureland. It's basically right between Adventureland and Frontierland. They look a little different than what you would find at Port Orleans French Quarter by the photos, right? But either way, we're excited to try them.
I'm sure they're going to taste the same and they'll be awesome.
Yeah, agreed. The new Tiana's Bayou Adventure merch will be available at the Emporium on Main Street. and not at the Critter Co-op or Tiana's Bayou General, which is the new merchandise locations near the attraction. Disney did say that merch will be available at the Critter Co-op shortly after opening and omitted any details about Tiana's Bayou General. Okay, so it seems that the stores won't be ready with the attraction, so we'll keep our ears to the ground for more details on that front. The new drone show that Disney previously announced is coming to Disney Springs on May 24th, and it was being rehearsed this week. The show, named Disney Dreams That Soar, has theming around characters and stories that include flying or dreams of flying. There'll be a musical score that's sure to pull at your heartstrings. Some of the characters teased are Peter Pan, Dumbo, the Star Wars Death Star, Baymax, Wally, and Eve, among others. There will be 2 shows every night, beginning on May 24th and wrapping up on September 2nd.
So having said all that, a couple of episodes ago, before our most recent trip down to Orlando, we ranked the attractions over in Islands of Adventure. So today we're going to be following up with the attractions at the park right next door, Universal Studios, Florida. There are fewer attractions in this park when compared to Islands of Adventure. Having said that, though, there are some real stellar attractions over here, and we'll get into our standings from least to most favorite. The most popular park out of the 2 is definitely Islands of Adventure. There's no doubt about that, but there's a couple of reasons for this. Number 1, it has a really popular IP like the Jurassic Park area and the Velocicoaster, which is hugely popular.
Yeah, 100%. Still, it's been open for a couple of years and it's still super popular.
Absolutely. Yeah. And number 2, it's half of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but specifically it's home to the castle, which is obviously what most people really want to see when they go there. And that's prominent in most people's vacation photos.
Yeah, 100%. It's like Cinderella Castle over in Magic Kingdom, right? It's super photogenic and everyone wants their photo with the castle, right?
Absolutely. It also has 2 attractions versus the 1 attraction that's at Universal Florida side. Hagrid's Motorbike Adventures is subjectively the best out of all 3 in our opinion.
Yep,
we
agreed.
absolutely love that ride. It's epic. But again, don't discount Universal Studios Florida. It has the Diagon Alley area of the Wizarding World, and they executed this with perfection as well. Gringotts Bank with the dragon perched on top is so well done, and that's also a great photo opportunity.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. It spits fire too.
Or a video, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, we mentioned it in our Islands of Adventure episode, but to really experience the Wizarding World the way it was intended, you could consider park-to-park tickets. You really should, actually.
And you should, yeah. 100%, yeah.
So this way you'll be able to ride the Hogwarts Express from park to park and visit the entire world in one day, which is definitely worth it in our opinion.
Yep.
It's kind of a must.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. Yep.
And beyond doing the Wizarding World, the parks are literally right next to each other. They are walkable, much like Disneyland to California Adventure. So while it's not always worth it to do the park hopper tickets in Disney World, we really do think it's worth it to do the park-to-park tickets at Universal Orlando. Universal Studios Florida also has DreamWorks Land opening next month on June 14th. This is going to feature a new Trolls-themed roller coaster called Trollicoaster, an interactive experience with Poe from Kung Fu Panda, and a meet and greet with Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, and their cottage. That's going to be so great.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a really popular movie, so I think that's going to be well received.
Yeah, it still holds up after all this
Absolutely.
time. Yeah.
They also have a new live show called DreamWorks Imagination Celebration. The Mega Movie Parade, the Cinesational, which is actually a musical show featured in the Lagoon. There's a lot going on at Universal this summer. Lots of exciting new additions. That's going to be a really nice refresh.
Yeah, 100%. So with that said, let's get into our ranking of the attractions that are currently available in this park. So like we said, we count 13 attractions here. So let's dive in. So coming in at number 13 is Kang & Kodo's Twirl and Hurl. So it's located in the Simpsons area directly across the lagoon from Diagon Alley. This is a spinning arm attraction, and if you've listened to our other ranking episodes, you know, or you're probably not surprised to see this at the bottom of our list. Okay, so this Simpsons themed attraction has you board a space shuttle and will take you round and round with up and down motion, and that's about it. Okay, so there's
Typical.
100%, right? There's no minimum height requirement for this one, so even your smallest littles will be able to ride it. There's nothing special about this spinning arm ride over others, so unless you have a child that's really wanting to ride this one, there's really no reason to prioritize it during your park day.
I agree with that. Coming in at number 12 is Fast and the Furious Supercharged. This is located just before Diagon Alley on your left when you're facing it. This attraction is a motion simulation ride themed to the Fast and the Furious franchise. The queue includes a pre-show with cast members trying to get you to the party bus, which is the ride vehicle. You're going to see cutscenes from the characters from the movie like Vin Diesel, Ludacris, and The Rock. Things don't go exactly as planned, and you board the bus, which is illuminated with bright neon lights and music. The ride is a mix of screen elements and live sets, and the whole thing is a little campy.
Yeah, a little corny,
yeah,
right?
It's not our favorite.
Yeah.
So unless you're a really huge Fast and the Furious fan, this attraction is just okay. We like the Fast and the Furious movies, especially the first two, but we're not huge fans of this attraction. It kind of falls flat for us. It does have a 40-inch height requirement, so your littles won't be able to actually ride this one. And the bus jostles you around quite a bit, but nothing crazy. Again, no need to prioritize this one unless you're a huge fan of the franchise.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. At number 11, we're slotting the Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon. So when you're walking in from the main entrance, you're going to find this on your left just past Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. This is a 4D motion simulation attraction themed to The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. The queue has you walking into the NBC studio and you'll see memorabilia lining the halls. You'll then have a pre-show featuring Jimmy Fallon himself in like different costumes. And it's actually pretty funny, right? So the ride vehicles are in audience style seating and there's a big screen in front of you. And Jimmy himself gets in a go-kart and is driving around New York. And yeah, I mean, it's just not as immersive as the other 4D simulators in this park or kind of in the parks in the Orlando area. So it's just okay in our opinion.
Okay.
There are some funny bits because of Jimmy Fallon, right? We like Jimmy Fallon, so that's definitely
a plus.
Yeah, it's a plus for it. Now, despite that, it's pretty tame, like the ride mechanics themselves. It does have a 40-inch height requirement, so a similar thing. Your smaller littles won't be able to ride this one.
At number 10, we're slotting Illumination's Villain Con Minion Blast. This attraction is located directly across of Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, so not far from the front entrance to the park. So disclaimer here, we've actually never done this experience. We've watched videos on it though, and we had a pretty good grasp of what it's about, and given our experience with shooter type attractions, we're going to put this one at number 10. So unlike the Men in Black, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, Toy Story Mania, or your usual shooter style games, this is a walkthrough attraction. So you'll be given a blaster and you'll actually be on a moving conveyor style walkway, not unlike what you're going to find actually at large airports.
Yeah, 100%.
Our kids like those.
Yep.
You'll blast targets as you make your way through the attraction, and you'll get to your final point tally when you turn in your blaster at the very end. I know for a fact our son Caleb would love this attraction. He's a huge fan of these target shooting type attractions. His favorite attraction at Hollywood Studios is actually Toy Story Mania, and he also really likes the Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. So if your kids are fans of video games and Despicable Me in general, they'll probably really enjoy this experience. And when we take our kids to Universal next year, we're definitely going to give this one a go.
Yeah, 100%. It's right up his alley, our boy, and I think he would really love that one. At number 9, we're heading back to the Simpsons area of the park. This is located right before Kang and Kudo's Twirl and Hurl, in between E.T. and Men in Black. This attraction is a 4D motion simulation attraction themed to the popular cartoon. The queue is a pre-show that sets up the context for the attraction. You'll then board the attraction itself, get secured in your seat, and the ride vehicle will move with the context on the screen in front of you through various scenes like a roller coaster, among other effects. So don't come at me for this, but I've never been a Simpsons fan. I'm actually not a fan of the IP at all, and I've never watched the show. I don't identify with it, and I don't really find it funny at all. The ride itself is well done. The motion simulator is good, and it does feel like you're moving with it. And that's the sole reason we're placing it at number 8. If you're a Simpsons fan and you do like the show and the IP, you're more likely to enjoy this experience as a whole, and it's a pretty good attractions as well, so there's that. This has a minimum height requirement of 40 inches, so your very little ones won't be able to ride this one, and you may not want them to regardless. So I'm lukewarm on this attraction. I know some people love it, but there it is.
Yeah, absolutely. The Simpsons area in general at the park is pretty well done. 100%. It's quite immersive. So if you are a Simpsons fan, you're going to love that whole area.
100%. Don't think we're knocking it completely. I'm just not a Simpsons fan, but if you like the Simpsons, it's just as good as any other area. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure.
They do a pretty good job with that area.
Yep.
At number 8, we've got the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. This attraction is right beside Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, and this starts with you choosing a song as you're getting secured into the ride vehicle. This is a thrill coaster. And when I say thrill, this is a thrill coaster.
100%.
It takes you straight up at 90 degrees and has a huge drop right after that. And it goes 65 miles per hour for reference. And that's just as fast as the outdoor portion of Test Track.
Yep, exactly.
That's a good reference there.
Yep.
There's a popular misconception here, and the track kind of really feeds into that, but there's actually no inversion on this ride. You would think there is, but there's not. You might say, listen, the track loops. How is that possible? Well, it corkscrews or barrels as you're making your way across the portion of the track, but you're never actually upside down.
Yeah, agreed. Yep.
It's fairly short and really fast, and it's definitely a good attraction for the thrill seekers. But quick note, it is an older coaster, so it's not actually that smooth. It does jostle you around quite a bit.
Yep.
This is why we slotted it at number 8 for us. It actually also has a 51-inch height requirement, which is actually very significant. Our son Caleb, who is 9, is around 49 inches, so this attraction is really for tweens, teens, and older, taller guests. Something to keep in mind there.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. Any kid less than 10 years old, unless they're super tall, won't be able to ride this one.
Exactly.
Coming in at number 7 is Transformers The Ride 3D. This is located near the lagoon, just a short ways from the Despicable Me area of the park. This is another 4D motion simulation experience that mixes a track with a mix of visual and live sets, as well as screen elements with the motion simulator. So the attraction is basically a battle between Autobots and Decepticons. The queue is themed to the Nest headquarters, which is like the military kind of
from the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff,
yeah, exactly. You'll board the ride vehicle, and in the context of the attraction, it's a Transformer. Okay, so the ride features the Autobots you'll recognize from the franchise, like Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. You don't need to have seen the movies to appreciate the attraction. Okay, it's really well done, and again, you'll definitely get more out of it if you're a fan of the franchise, but you don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see some characters meet and greets as well outside of the attraction. Like you'll actually see like a full blown Decepticon and Optimus Prime. Like they'll meet and greet right outside there sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it does have a 40-inch height requirement, so it's a solid pick for your park day in our opinion.
I agree. It's a fun one. Coming in at number 6 is Despicable Me Minions Mayhem. This attraction is located directly across from the Villain Con Minion Blast. It is also a motion simulation ride. There's a lot of these over at Universal, as you've noticed from our list. This one is themed to Despicable Me, and it's really cute and it's a fun attraction. You get trained to be a minion by Agnes, Edith, and Margot. The voice actors reprise their roles for this attraction, so that's kind of fun too because it's recognizable.
Yep.
And once you get through the queue, which is very heavily themed, you're going to board the ride vehicle. There is a 40-inch height requirement for the motion vehicles, but there are stationary vehicles for littles who just don't measure up to the 40-inch height requirement. This attraction is not unlike the Minion Run game that you can play on your mobile device. The ride vehicle moves with the screen elements, and there are other effects like mists, winds, and scents. This is actually really fun. It's a really cute attraction for the whole family. Definitely worth a stop during your park day. We like this one, and again, our kids have not been to Universal yet, but based on what we've experienced with them at Disney, they would really love this one as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
And they like the Minions.
They do. They like Despicable Me, so I'm 100% sure they're going to like this one. All right, we're getting into the top 5 here, which is best of the best in our opinion in this park. And for number 5, we're slotting E.T. Adventure. So this is located right before the Simpsons area of the park, across the lagoon from the Transformers and Fast and Furious rides. This is a slow, dark ride, similar to what you're going to find frequently in Disney parks, right? So think like, Peter Pan's Flight.
Yes,
actually, it's
that's
very similar to Peter
Pan's
Flight. The ride vehicle has you board a vehicle with several seats made to look like bicycles with handlebars and everything. The attraction takes you on a flying bicycle ride over those trying to catch E.T. and then over the city and eventually to E.T.'s homeworld. The sets are really well done, and given the classic nature of the film, it's a classic attraction in our opinion. If you appreciate the dark, slow rides at Disney, you're likely to appreciate this one as well. If you're not a big fan of those, this may not resonate with you. It is slow and it is dark, so there's no thrills here, okay? So keep that in mind. We do like it a lot. It's a classic and a must-do for us every time we're at Universal Studios Florida. It has a 34-inch height requirement, so even the smallest kids should be good to ride this one. Definitely recommended.
Absolutely. E.T. was one of my favorite movies growing up, so this ride hits every time. The nostalgia of this ride is just perfection. I love it so much. It was very well done.
Yeah, 100%. Like if you were young or youngish when that movie came out, you're going to like this.
Absolutely. Coming in at number 4, we've got Men in Black Alien Attack. This is another shooter-style attraction, not unlike others you've experienced before. This is located on the far side of the Simpsons area before you loop around towards Diagon Alley. The queue is themed to Men in Black headquarters with the 1964 World's Fair exhibit. You'll then get a quick briefing, and there will be a what to expect of the ride video. Then you're going to board the ride vehicle and grab your S4 Alienators, which is your blasters, and you're going to shoot all kinds of different aliens across various screens and live sets. There are 2 tracks and multiple possible endings, so your ride-through experience will probably be not the same every single time. Certain targets are worth more, so you can definitely get competitive with your party on this one. It has a 42-inch height requirement, and it's a really fun attraction. I really like this one.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's a lot of fun. It's actually, it feels like it's a longer one too.
Yep.
There's just a lot to do in it.
Yep.
So if you like the attractions such as Buzz Lightyear or Toy Story Mania over at Disney parks, you're going to really enjoy this one as well. Most parents of our generation will probably have been fairly young when the first Men in Black movies came out. And if you enjoyed the IP, you're really going to enjoy these rides as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like the first Men in Black is...
epic.
I love that movie, right?
Makes me want to watch it again now.
Yeah, 100%.
Talking about it.
Yeah. So it definitely hits for us. We like that one a lot. At number 3, we've got the Hogwarts Express. So this is over in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, obviously, right? In that section of the park. This is the other station for the train. So like we mentioned in our Islands of Adventure episode, you need park-to-park tickets to ride the train because you'll end up in the other park on the other side. So in this one, you enter King's Cross Station.
Which is very exciting.
Yeah, 100%. There's a special effect where you enter platform 9 3/4. Okay, so I don't want to give too much away here because it's like it's a special thing, right? So if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're going to absolutely love this. effect or experience or whatever you want to call it, right? Whatever. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's amazing. Let's just put it that way.
The train takes you from London, right? So King's Cross to Hogsmeade Station, which will land you in the Islands of Adventure in the other park, right? So again, it's a must do in our opinion for all park goers. You don't need to be a Harry Potter fan to appreciate this, but if you are a Harry Potter fan, it's a must do. It's just so fun and immersive, and we highly, highly recommend it.
Absolutely. I know, talking to my mom, she's a huge Harry Potter nut, and she's only seen the one side before, so I can't wait to go back with her one day so that she can experience all of that. She'll have a blast.
Agreed. Yeah, she would love that.
Coming in at number 2, we're heading back down to Revenge of the Mummy. This is located at the back of the park when you're coming in from the entrance. Essentially, walk all the way forward from the entrance until you hit a wall, and the Mummy attraction will be right there. This attraction is themed to the Mummy movie franchise. Yeah,
fun fact here, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. So the original 1999 movie with Brendan Fraser, okay, this is what I'm talking about. I love this movie when it came out. I was 8 years old, and it was right up my alley, and to this day, I still love this movie, right? We'll watch it every now and again, and it holds up. Still love it. Still great.
Absolutely. I agree. It's a great movie.
Yep.
The queue is set to a museum of antiquities, and it's also themed to be an active set for the Revenge of the Mummy. There are some interactive elements and behind-the-scenes looks during the queue. The ride vehicle is a mine train that leads you into the tomb, but of course you encounter a problem with the curse.
Yep.
This is a thrilling ride from there that will take you forwards, backwards, and into near complete darkness. It's so fun. This ride is so underrated. I think a lot of people would just skip right by it. Do not skip by this ride. This ride is amazing.
Yep.
We love this one. We love the attraction. We love the IP. It's definitely a must-do every time, and a top-tier attraction in this park. Actually, the last time we were there, it was closed for refurbishment, and I was devastated.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Absolutely devastated. So even if you don't love the movies, don't sleep on this ride. I'm telling you, it's so good. It does have a 48-inch height requirement, so your smaller kids won't be tall enough to ride this one. But if they're tall enough, get them on it. It's so fun.
Yeah, 100%. And if it's just you and your wife or an adults trip with friends or whatever, then
get on it more than once if you can.
Yeah, 100%. And finally, at number 1, which again should come at no surprise since there is a glaring attraction we haven't covered yet, and that's Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. So this is obviously back in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Diagon Alley area. This attraction is a blend between a roller coaster with a regular track, as well as screen and motion kind of simulator elements that are 3 and 4D. The entrance to the attraction is themed to the lobby of Gringotts, and basically the way it's depicted in the movies. This area is so well done, complete with the goblin at the back on the high podium. It's just like phenomenal.
Amazing.
The big chandelier, like it's just
like you're in the movies.
Yeah, 100%. The queue takes you deeper into the bank to board a cart that will take you even deeper into the vault area. You'll obviously encounter some problems as you go deeper, and you'll be taken on a wild ride that blends, like we said, traditional coaster with state-of-the-art screen and projection elements. It was really well executed. And again, for the Harry Potter fans out there, you're going to absolutely love this. The level of detail is really well done. And the feeling of walking into Gringotts, it legit looks like the movie set. It's like a dream come true.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, even if you're not a big Harry Potter person, you can appreciate the level of detail and the quality of the attraction itself. This is the flagship attraction in this park and an absolute must do in our opinion. It does have a 42-inch height requirement, so it's not quite as steep as some of the other thrill attractions at Universal Orlando. But again, your really young ones won't be able to ride this one. Aside from that, another couple of notable things in this park that are not attractions in the classical sense, but deserve a look. So outside of King's Cross Station, you'll see the Night Bus, like KN, Night Bus. There's a small merchandise location there, and you can take photos with the bus. It's definitely worth checking out. You can't miss it as you make your way closer to the Wizarding World.
And actually, right next to the Night Bus, you're going to find a row of townhouses, and you'll get to stand right in front of 12 Greenwell Place.
Yep.
And if you look up, you will see the house elf creature opening the blinds, peeking out, and then he'll lean back and close it again. And then a few minutes later, it happens again. It's a really neat part of the attraction.
Yeah, 100%.
I love it.
And you can go up and take your photo with the door with the number. It's like,
perfect.
Yeah, 100%. Super, super cool.
Absolutely.
The Bourne Stuntacular is also definitely worth a stop. So this is a stunt show, not unlike the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular that you're going to find in Hollywood Studios. So there's a massive screen here and prop scenes and elements and actors. They're going to do stunts themed to the Bourne series. So it's a really cool experience, and we really appreciate this show. Again, you don't have to be a Jason Bourne series fan to appreciate this. Just a quality show. It's definitely worth your time during your park day. The show is housed in a large theater and lasts about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a really fun stop.
Yep.
So as you can see, this resort, Universal Orlando as a whole, so Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, has a lot to offer. Great attractions, great IPs. There's a lot going on here, and a lot actually coming up in the next year. So we're really excited for everything that's coming up in 2025.
Agreed, yep.
So having said that, it's decidedly more adult than the Disney parks. The IP is more for a mature audience. A lot of the more popular attractions have height requirements that are prohibitive for families with younger children. So again, the Disney parks still reign when it comes to family fun for the entire party, regardless of age and height.
Yeah, agreed 100%. So Universal, definitely awesome. We absolutely love it. But the reality is we haven't taken our kids there and we won't till next year when our youngest Sophia is at least 48 inches tall, right? So at that height, she'll be able to ride most attractions, but even at that height, she'll be missing out on certain headliners, right? So just something to keep in mind there. Again, not a negative thing, just an observation. When your littles are a little older and taller, or if you've got, again, only adults in your party, Universal is a must during your Orlando trip, in our opinion.
So we hope that this gives you a good idea of what attractions are located inside this park. It should help you prioritize which rides you'd like to experience during your trip and which ones are good for you and your party.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk Universal Studios Florida. If you haven't already, find us on Instagram and TikTok at letsgo.to-disney. We're also on Facebook there, Let's Go to Disney.
Absolutely. And we would also love it if you could subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It would be greatly appreciated. It helps us reach more listeners, and we love helping people have great trips.
Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.